It was a bright and unusually warm afternoon when I found myself standing outside the Global Climate Research Center. The sun glared down from a sky that should have been soft and blue, yet it shimmered with a faint orange haze. I was there for an interview. Not a job interview, but a conversation I had been preparing for weeks. My goal was to meet Dr. Leela Morgan, one of the most respected climate scientists in the world. Dr. Morgan had spent decades studying rising temperatures, melting ice caps, and extreme weather patterns. She was known for her calm yet passionate explanations that made even the most complex climate data sound human and urgent. For my English learning project, I wanted to create a story that not only improved my language skills, but also deepened my understanding of how science connects to everyday life. Meeting her felt like the perfect opportunity. As I entered the glass building, I noticed how everything inside seemed designed to remind visitors of nature. The walls displayed photographs of glaciers, forests, and coral reefs. A small fountain trickled near the reception desk, and a quiet hum of computers filled the air. When Dr. Morgan appeared, she carried a tablet, a reusable water bottle, and a welcoming smile. "Thank you for coming," she said, her voice soft but confident. "I always enjoy meeting people who are curious about our planet." I smiled nervously. "It's an honor, Dr. Morgan. I'm learning English through storytelling, and I wanted to share your message in a way that's both educational and emotional." She nodded approvingly. "That's a wonderful idea. Stories can reach people's hearts faster than statistics." We sat by a window that overlooked a garden of solar-powered research equipment. As our conversation began, I asked her what motivated her to study climate change. She paused for a moment, her eyes reflecting both sadness and determination. "When I was a child," she began, "I lived near the coast. I remember watching the sea each evening, how peaceful it seemed. But every year, the water crept closer. The beach where I used to play is now gone. That's when I realized the planet is changing, and it needs voices to speak for it." Her words struck me deeply. English learners often talk about finding meaning in language. But that day, I discovered meaning in silence, in the pause between her sentences, where emotion replaced vocabulary. She showed me a series of maps on her tablet. "This," she said, pointing to bright red zones, "is where the temperature has risen by more than 2 degrees in the past 50 years. That small number might not seem dangerous, but it's enough to disrupt crops, melt glaciers, and cause storms." I asked how people could help. "Change begins with awareness," she replied. "Even small actions, reducing waste, saving energy, supporting green innovation, matter. But most importantly, we must talk about it. Language can be as powerful as science." Her statement fascinated me. She was not only a scientist, but also a storyteller, translating complex data into emotions and choices. I realized that learning English was not only about grammar or pronunciation, it was about communicating ideas that inspire action. As our discussion continued, Dr. Morgan shared her experiences from expeditions in the Arctic. She described standing on melting ice, hearing it crack beneath her boots. "It's like listening to the planet breathe and struggle," she said. "The sound is unforgettable." I listened closely, practicing active comprehension. Every word she spoke painted vivid images in my mind: glaciers breaking apart, forests burning, animals searching for lost homes. It was not just a story, it was a call to consciousness. Before I left, she gave me one final piece of advice. "Keep learning," she said, "because language gives you the power to explain the world and maybe even to save it." That night, I replayed the interview in my head, repeating key sentences to practice my pronunciation. "Change begins with awareness." The phrase echoed like a mantra. It reminded me that English, when used with purpose, becomes more than a skill. It becomes a tool for empathy and global connection. The next day, I began writing my story. I wanted other English learners to feel the same inspiration I had felt. I described the meeting, her passion, and the lessons hidden between her scientific explanations. I used new vocabulary like sustainability, resilience, and ecosystem. These words were not just academic terms. They were windows into understanding the world's balance. As I wrote, I realized that storytelling is a bridge between science and humanity. A climate scientist uses data to explain the truth. A storyteller uses language to make people feel it. And when both meet, something powerful happens. Knowledge becomes compassion. Weeks later, I received an email from Dr. Morgan. She had read my story. "You captured the essence perfectly," she wrote. "Language is how we build a better world, one word at a time." Her message filled me with pride. I had started this journey to practice English, but I ended up discovering something far greater: the ability to use language to connect with people, protect the planet, and share hope. Now, every time I study English, I think of that warm afternoon, the orange-tinted sky, and the scientist who reminded me that learning is not just about understanding words. It is about understanding the world. And maybe, just maybe, with every learner who listens and every story told, the planet gains one more voice willing to protect it.